With me today, Margaret Hirsch, Businesswoman of the Year. I mean, what a proud thing to get.
It was really fantastic for me because I never thought that I'd win. I was up against so many other women who had MBAs, who were on boards of different banks, boards of different companies. And for myself, I just thought I was just an ordinary old girl from Pietermaritzburg, wrote matric, had no fancy degrees or anything. So I really didn't think that I was going to win. In fact, when I did win, when they announced the winner, my husband jumped up and I was still sitting down waiting to see who the winner was. And so for me, it was a surprise, and it was a fantastic honour and a fantastic pleasure.
It must have been. Now you know what the Oscar people feel like when they didn't have a speech prepared.
Yeah, no.
Did you have one?
They told us we had to. I was in the last three. There was myself, there was an African lady called Johanna who's got all of the travel agencies for the government. There was another lady called Priya, who's also from Durban, who has an MBA and is on the board of a whole lot of different companies. And they told us, so I'd prepared one, and when I went up there, it was very spontaneous. And I think having Jacob Zuma there as well, because he has such a presence, I mean, he is our president and he has a presence around himself. So it was very, very different talking in front of those type of people.
You live above every single store that you've ever built.
Yes, well, it started when we went to Joburg because we didn't have anywhere to live. I didn't know where to live. I didn't know what area to live in. So I looked around and I didn't really want another house. So we had a look. We were building the store and I said to the builder, could you throw a slab over there? And he said, yes, I think I could. So I said, if you threw a slab, do you think you could put a kitchen and a couple of bathrooms? And he said, yes, I think I could. So we did that, and that's when we moved to Four Ways, and I stayed there above the store. Then when we moved to Steuben's Valley, I thought, well, it was quite close, but then I didn't know the Joburg traffic, what it was like, and I was in the traffic in the morning, traffic in the evening. I said to the builder there, throw a slab. So he threw a slab up there, and then we built a flat there, and we've done that in all of our stores. So here we are in our Cape Town store, where I also live above the shop. But you've got to remember, I work 2 days Joburg, 2 days Durban, 2 days Cape Town, so I move around a lot.
It's incredible because we're doing this first part of our interview here in the flat.
In my kitchen.
Yeah. What's with all this purple?
Purple is the new colour, and I love purple, and I just thought it was something different. I had every colour kitchen you can imagine. I've had a red kitchen, a yellow kitchen, a blue kitchen, a white kitchen, black kitchen. So I thought let's do something different, so we stuck on the purple.
I mean, what could a girl do without her colours in the kitchen?
And colours, this is the very in thing at the moment. Colours in the kitchen are very in. You'll see the KitchenAids are brilliant colours, the kettles are brilliant colours. So that's the new trend.
And the chandeliers?
Well, the chandeliers, I just thought that was something different. It was something nice, it was something novel, and it just made it look a bit more posh.
A posh. Are you a posh person?
I'm right across the board. I'm right down to earth. I was talking this morning to businesswomen in South Africa, and they said to me it was so nice because I'm right down to earth. I have no airs and graces. I've told them I started work when I was 12 years old, washing hair in a hairdressing salon. So I've been there, I've done that, I've done everything, and even at Hirsch's I've driven the trucks, I've done the deliveries, I've helped the people cook their food, I've done the washing, I can do the tumble drying, I can iron, so anything you want me to do, I can cook very easily, yeah.
You say you're a Jewish family. Do you still keep Shabbos on a Friday? And
It's the most amazing thing, because when I married my husband, which was 41 years ago, he was the rabbi's grandson, and I had never met a Jew in my life. I didn't know what one was. So I've never converted, and we have been happily married for 41 years.
Oh, so you weren't Jewish?
No.
But Alan was?
Yes.
Ah, I see. And you never ever, but you just keep a Jewish home?
We keep them. We do everything. We do Christmas. We do everything.
But your children aren't, of course, Jewish because you're not.
My children are not Jewish. No.
Oh, that's an unusual. I don't think too many people know that one. That's one of the Hirsch secrets. Is it?
Well, no, I think it's quite well known because Rabbi Wolf Hirsch was the senior rabbi of the armed forces during the Second World War. He was the chief rabbi of Pretoria, and before that, he was the rabbi of Shanghai.
In China?
Yes.
My goodness me.
And we've actually been to the shul where he was rabbi in Shanghai.
I've also been in Shanghai, but I didn't go to the shul. But I did know there's a huge Jewish community.
There was a massive Jewish community before the war,
So how did a nice shiksa meet a Jewish boy?
Well, I met him out at a nightclub. He was actually out with my girlfriend, and I said to her, oh, that chap's so nice. So she said, oh, but you can't go out with him because he's Jewish. I said, I didn't know what that was. So
you didn't know what a Jew was?
I never met one in my life, no.
That was a bit of a drawback.
Well, I learned quickly. So he got sent to Israel to find a nice Jewish wife, but luckily he came back, and we got married shortly afterwards. And we were married for 5 years, and then I was going to have my son, Richard. And I went to my boss one day and I told him I was pregnant, and he told me that I was fired. So that was a second big change in my life, because I realized then that I would never work for another boss as long as I lived, because I never wanted anyone to have that power over me. So I started work the very next day for myself, doing shorthand typing from home, and that was how I started my career. At the same time, my husband, who is an extremely clever man, but when I met him when he was 24, he could neither read nor write. So I taught him very, very quickly to read and write.
Why could he never learn to read? Why?
Because he's a classic dyslexic.
Ah.
He's a classic dyslexic, and in those days they didn't know what one was. So I knew that he was extremely clever, and luckily our neighbour was a retired school teacher, and she put us onto Professor Logue, and he said to Alan, there's nothing wrong with you, you're a classic dyslexic, and you are extremely intelligent, and you just have never been able to learn in the school curriculum. So from then we realized that there was nothing wrong with him, and he was at that stage also working, and he was working for a boss, and it was the stage when all the discount stores were opening, when Game was opening, and he said to his boss, why don't you discount these appliances? So his boss said to him, if you think you're so clever, why don't you go and start your own business? So he did. So he came home, so we went from having 2 jobs and no children to having 2 children and no jobs in the space of 1 year.
Let's talk about all the stores you've opened when we get down there in the store from the kitchen now.
We'll go down there.
Yeah. We were talking about how many stores there were as we walked down the stairs. How many are there?
Well, there are lots. So we have home stores, we have concept stores, we have smaller stores, we have boutique stores. And then, of course, I've got my air conditioning outlets, I have service companies, I have huge warehouses. So we've got lots and lots of different outlets, and everything's different. Our first store we started in Durban North, and it was just a basic, we started just doing repairs, and that's why service is so important to us. And service to us today is still the most important thing that we do. And we pride ourselves on our service. We give the best possible service, and we fix everything that we sell, which makes us unusual from all the other companies.
Margaret, do you think more women should be involved in this kind of business than there are?
Well, I work a lot with women, and all my staff are handpicked by me. I pick women who I feel are fantastic. The most important thing they have to have is a good attitude. I can train skills, but I cannot train attitude.
Let's move on and talk some more.
Certainly.
Well, we're sitting down here on the floor, and it's busy as ever down this end, and it's a huge store. Are all the stores this big?
Yeah, our big home stores are all large. They're between 2,500 to 3,500 square meters of floor space, and they all have warehouses as well. So everything you see on the floor, we've got upstairs and boxes ready for you to take.
Now we're sitting in this comfy, cozy home feeling in a nice lounge suite here on the floor. Let's talk about how you keep your marriage together, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to be interested on that one. You work 2 days here, 2 days there, 2 days everywhere. How does your marriage survive?
It's very easy. You know, that from the moment I met Alan, I was madly in love with him, and I've never changed. And we are totally devoted to each other. We have a wonderful family, and our family is the most important thing in our lives. So I think for all of us, it's really important. And yes, I do. I usually work 2 days Durban, 2 days Joburg, 2 days Cape Town. But Sundays we have on our farm, and that's non-negotiable. The whole family comes, and I'm very lucky because my son-in-law is an only child, so his parents come. My daughter-in-law is not an only child, but her brother lives in Australia, so her parents are here, so they come out, and we have everybody together, and we eat and we laugh and we talk and we plan our week, and it's wonderful.
And what happens now? I mean, you've already said you're in not the twilight years, but moving towards the twilight years. Aren't you worried about who takes over? We've
got a fantastic succession plan. Luckily for us, we've got a big staff, and a lot of our staff have been with us for many, many years. Mr. Simon Makatini is our longest serving employee. He's been with us for 34 years. But our financial manager's been with us for over 25 years. So a lot of our top managers have been with us well over 20 years. So they know the business inside out. They think how we think, they work how we work. I'm very, very fortunate to have my son and my daughter in the business, so they are ready to take over. My son's 36 this year, my daughter will be 35. So we've got a wonderful succession plan in place ready.
So there is a Hirsch going to take over in the future?
Yes, my son Richard Hirsch took over as managing director from me 2 years ago, and he runs the company now, and he does a far better job than I ever did.
So your son's the old boss?
Yes, he is.
How does that work out?
Well, it's wonderful. He's a very strict boss, much stricter than I was, but he's very set in his ways. He does everything by the book. He does it all right, and he does the right thing all the time, so it's very easy.
Margaret Hirsch, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.